and those their pertaining items. Go ahead.
And shall take many, but a prince for his own behalf.
Now listen to this. It says a prince for his own behalf, go ahead,
shall cause the reproach of the vine to cease.
Now let me say this. This Antiochus literally was entreated by an ambassador of Rome. And they literally made him. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find that in the what you call it. I don't think that one is in the with Antiochus the Great. What verse is that?
Verse 18.
Yeah. No, it doesn't mention that one. It only mentions Antiochus Epiphanes when the Romans took him out. But what happened was, literally, yeah, sure don't. What happened was the Romans forced him out. The Romans forced out Antiochus the Great. The Romans had defeated him. Let me see something. I'm going to show you what it's talking about. Go to First Maccabees. First Maccabees chapter 8. And now it's not about that, but it's going to show you. First Maccabees chapter 8, and you're going to read, I'm going to tell you as soon as I get this, like verses 1 to verses 16. It might not even be that much. But it mentions, okay, you're going to read all the way down from First Maccabees chapter 8, verses 1 all the way down to verse 6. Okay? Now I'm going to show you, because when you read in Daniel chapter 11, where it said, what verse was that?
Verse 18.
Verse 18. You want to read that and I can read Maccabees? Is that cool?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 18. After this shall he turn his face unto the isles.
So we show you the islands. Cyprus, the landmass of southern Asia Minor, from Caria all the way to Cilicia, and then those adjacent and pertaining islands. Some of those islands belong to Asia Minor, that kingdom, and some of those islands in the Aegean Sea belong to the Greek states. So you couldn't, you had to know, or he had to distinguish. He was basically at war with the Seleucid line was at war with the Ptolemaic line, and not with the Macedonian or the Greek states. All right. So we'll read on down a bit more.
And shall take many. But a prince for his own behalf.
When it says the prince for his own behalf, it's talking about Antiochus Epiphanes was met by I'm trying to think of the guy. I'm not Epiphanes. Antiochus the Great was met by an ambassador, and he was compelled to leave. And what happened also, this is Antiochus the Great. Antiochus the Great, literally, after the battle, I'm going to read it. First Maccabees in the Apocrypha, chapter 8 and verses 1 through 6. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, because these were the ones who put a halt and who defeated Antiochus the Great. What happened is all the same names he's just starting to get to. You know what I mean? I'm going to read again. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them. This was one of our forefathers, Judas Maccabees, who was considering what allies to make to get the Greek oppression off of them. Verse 2. And that they were men of great valor, it was told him also of their wars and their noble acts which they had done among the Galatians. Matter of fact, let's go there. Show you what it says. I'm going to be reading about it. Can't go nowhere without a mistake. You know that, right? All right. it had gotten back that the Romans, it said, and that they were men of great valor. It was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done among the Galatians. All right. When it said among the Galatians, right here, like I said, the map is progressive. We're still in the Mediterranean War, 246, in the height of the Hellenistic Empire, but the story is progressive. So we actually can flip the map, but I don't want to lose this scenario here. But at this time that we're reading now, the Romans came and conquered the Macedonian states, the Greek states, and then got all up in the Galatia. This far in. It says what they had done among the Galatians and how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute, and what they had done in the country of Spain. In other words, they were heading east. They had already conquered Spain, and this says Spain. Okay? For the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which is there. Remember, we read this for, I think it was Daniel chapter 7 or 2 Ezra chapter 11 and 12. Can't remember. And that by their policy and patience, they had conquered all the place, talking about Spain, though it were very far from them. And the kings also that came against them from the uttermost parts of the earth, because people was coming all over. Hannibal, the Carthaginian, had fought against the Romans. When we read it, listen to what it says. And the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them and defeated them, and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give tribute every year. Besides this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip. When it says Philip was the king of Macedonia. It says, and Perseus, king of the Cittians. When it says, now I'm showing you something, proof that it's talking about the Romans. It said they had discomfited Philip, this is verse 5, in battle. Philip was the cat who helped he wasn't D1. He was of the line who had helped the Seleucid Empire go and take down the Ptolemaic Empire. All right, Antiochus the Great. Okay, it says, and Perseus, king of the Cittians. Cittims was the chief city of the island Cyprus. Now remember, it said he should turn. Read that verse again. What is that, verse 18?
Verse 18.
Where it said he would turn to the isles?
Yes.
Go ahead.
After this shall he turn his face unto the isles, and shall take many. But a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. In other words, when it said prince on his behalf, they settled that dispute non-violently. Well, I shouldn't say non-violently. Antiochus the Great was defeated by the Romans and then forced to get out of all of these lands. But it was done, it's talking about Sicily, because this was the island that he was always, well, not just him, but his whole line was constantly reconquering, Cyprus. So it tells you that by that time, the Romans had conquered the king of the Sicilians, with others that lifted up themselves against them and had overcome them. Now listen to this, verse 6. How also Antiochus, the great king of Asia, Antiochus the Great, king of Asia, this is who we're talking about now. This is who Daniel chapter 11 verse 18 is talking about when it said he was going to try to take the islands. It's telling you the Romans had taken Sicily and wouldn't allow Antiochus to set foot there or any of the others. Go ahead. I'm reading. I will go ahead. I'm telling you to go ahead. How also Antiochus the Great, king of Asia, that came against them in battle, having 120 elephants with horsemen and chariots, and a very great army, was discomfited by them. All right? Now listen, this is the yoke that they put him under. Because what else does verse 18 say? Without his own reproach, he shall cause to turn upon him.
Go ahead.
Verse 19. Then he shall turn his face toward the fault of his own land.
Okay, let that go for now.